Welcome, everyone. This is Jeff. I'm so excited to have you on our PLF coaching call. This is going to be absolutely awesome. I love these calls. We always have a great time and do an incredible amount of work. And I'll tell you what, I am excited. I am just really excited to have you here. I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited that you're with me. We're going to do some great work. We're just, we're just kicking off this latest version of Product Launch Formula, and PLF has been an incredible gift for me and for the world. It's made just an incredible impact on so many people. I mean, what we're talking about here is creating your business, creating your lifestyle, your income, your legacy, your impact on the world. And it's just such a privilege to be your guide, your pathfinder along the way, showing you the way. Because you'll hear me say this more than once. I truly believe that my path is your path, and your path is my path. I started out, with a great, grew up in a lovely family, but there was no entrepreneurial role model for me in my family. We grew up very, very, comfortable, very middle class. I had, went to school, got a good education, but nothing prepared me to get out and bring my stuff in the world. It just prepared me to go get a job, another job out there, and not make that impact and not bring, my gifts to the world. And somehow, by hook or crook, I was able to break out of that pattern, and I'm able to. I was able to build my business and help a lot of people along the way, and then eventually start training people on how to build their businesses. And it's been such a joy to be able to help so many people. The thing is, this is going to work for you. It's worked for thousands of others, and it's going to keep on working. And the work that that you put in with Product Launch Formula is going to make a huge impact for you going forward in terms of building your business, in terms of building your lifestyle, in terms of getting out there and making a huge impact. So I am absolutely thrilled and excited to be with you here. We're going to go through lots of questions and just get you some real clarity. I've been in the comments, been going through all the comments and all the videos that we've released so far there in Module 1. And it's so great to read in the comments to see where so many of you are in there doing the work, going through the training, doing the exercise in the training, and already really seeing the light bulb flash on. And that's absolutely awesome for me as your trainer, as your teacher, as your mentor to see that. And really within that first module, it's a lot of the big picture strategy. It's about getting you rolling. It's about, there's a few exercises we walk through. One of them is to come up with your launch goals because, as Stephen Covey said, you have to begin with the end in mind. And if you don't, another friend of mine says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Well, this is about figuring out where you're going to go, at least initially. And then once we know where you're going to go, then we can design a launch for you. We can design what your business needs to look like to get you there, and then how you're going to start it, how you're going to launch it. And so being clear in your goals, and a lot of times for most people it might be just get that first launch done, get that experience, bring some money in, and and start creating that business. But for other people that already have a business already down the road, they might have other goals. But then anyways, that was one of the big ones, is to go through and think about what your goals are. And your goals will evolve over time, and that's okay. In fact, all of this will evolve over time. And that is absolutely beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it's necessary. I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago what my goals were with Product Launch Formula when I first came out with it, well, it was, frankly, my prior business had imploded, and I needed to bring in some money, and it was awesome. I had no idea that 10 years on I'd have created the the single product that has changed the world more than, changed the marketing world, the online world more than any other single product. I never saw that coming. I never saw selling tens of millions of dollars or having, 10,000 PLF owners along the way. It just did not see that possibility. But here I am. So in any case, when I want you to define your goals, it's your initial goals. And then when you go from there, then the next exercise that we did was all about the avatar. And the awesome thing there that I'm seeing is so many people are just having these light bulb moments as they go through these exercises. So there's 2 videos on avatar, and I want you to watch both of those videos, and I want you to do the work. There was one comment where someone said, "Oh, this is really great. I'm going to think about this for a couple of days," and I'm like, I actually replied to that comment. It's like, don't think about it, just do it, because the thing is you're no matter where you're at, the first time you do this exercise, or the third time or the fifth time, you're not going to be perfect at it. It's not, you're not going to get the answers exactly right. There are no exactly right answers, but you will get better doing that avatar exercise each time you do it. And it's something that all of us, even me, should be revisiting that work at a minimum on a yearly basis, and probably more often, because the better you get to know your avatar, the absolute better that you're going to be able to make a sale to that avatar and help that avatar, make an impact on that avatar. And that really is ultimately what's going to build your business, build your lifestyle, build your impact. And there's another comment in there that was great. It's like, boy, this isn't the first time I've been through, the whole avatar thing. But I'm so glad I went through this, because this is so much more, deeper and more real and more tangible. And so you absolutely have to go through the avatar. Those 2 videos will change everything for you. Absolutely everything for you. So the launch goals, the avatar videos, and then also the asset identification video. Now that one is probably the happiest video in this module, because for most of us, you will find assets that you just absolutely didn't know that you had, and it's beautiful when you realize, wow, I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting from this place where I've got some real things to work with. So those are 3 exercises, 3 pieces of homework that you don't want to just watch the video. You actually want to do the work. And thousands of people have gone through Product Launch Formula now, and we get to see real patterns of the people that have real success. And we've had so many people have just massive success now. We get to see that and sort of look for those common denominators. And the people that, frankly, go through the videos, they actually take the time to watch the videos and then do the exercises. They're the ones that win in the long run. Another common denominator is be on these coaching calls. And yay, you, because you're here with me. And that's another huge common denominator in who has success. I can tell you, I was looking at the people as they came on the call today, and one of the absolute first persons that came on the call is absolutely one of the most accomplished people that I know. He's got a huge business, and a great business, and a huge presence in this market, and boom, he's there on the call. And that's awesome, because you do not want to be too cool for school. I mentioned that in the module. You want to do the work. So definitely do those exercises. Even if you think your avatar, you've been through avatar exercises, you haven't done it the way I've done it. There's another comment. It's like, oh yeah, Jeff, I've seen all this I read this in your book. I saw this in your pre-launch. That's the idea of I knew that. That's not going to serve you. You got to keep on showing up and doing the work. Okay, so real quick, getting the most from this training, and this is for all of PLF. So I just wanted to go over this, but it's also for this call. remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. You're going to hear me say baby steps, and I'll say it more than once. And I know you've already heard this. You don't need me to hear. You don't need to hear it from me again, but you actually do need to hear it from me again. We all need to hear it, because it's easy for us all to look up at the top of the mountain and say, boy, top of that mountain's a long ways away. I'm never going to get there. But if you just keep on putting your one foot in front of the other, you will get there. There's the two things that will hold you back. I already talked about this a little bit. I knew that. Just turn off that filter when you're going through product launch formula, that I knew that or I disagree. Thing is I'm going to go deeper, and I'm going to come at things from different directions as we go through this training, and just, turn off that old I disagree filter for a minute, because, well, I've had a little bit of success at this. I've been at this game for a while. Just bring an open mind and an open heart. And, often you really do need, that open mind, to turn off that I knew that I disagree, and the open heart to really accept this material, accept that it works, accept that it's going to work for you, accept that you've got what you need inside you already. And this training is just going to open that up. You just want to turn off the fear. I see that in a lot of comments that I'm excited, but I'm scared. I want to, okay, let's honor the fact that this is something new for you, and new things can often bring fear, but this is a well-trodden path. People had success. Lots of people have had success. And fear just isn't, it's just not going to serve you. So just say, okay, I've got that in me, and now I'm going to move forward. I think one of the, most important questions you can answer is, am I going to fear, or am I going to love? Am I going to fear that I'm not going to be big enough, I'm not going to be good enough, or I'm just going to love myself and say, I'm going to do this? And when you choose, and it's a choice we all make all the time, every day, over and over. But the more times you come down on that side of love instead of fear, I think your life ends up being a heck of a lot better. So just set that fear aside and just move forward with the baby steps. This is going to work for you because it's worked for a lot of people before you. This isn't my first rodeo. This isn't the first time. You can look through and you can see other PLF owners from past editions. They're in there doing the work with you. That's because they're coming back because they know this works. So this will work for you. It's not going to work for you, however, if you don't do the work. If you don't stick with me, if you don't go through the modules, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be going through every single video in time with me. You can fall behind, you can catch up, but this is going to work if you do the work. But if you don't do the work, if you don't show up, then it's not. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir because you're on this call, and that just, that just sets you apart right there, and that's awesome for you. Or if you're listening to the recording, that's awesome as well, because everyone has conflicts. Not everyone can make the call live, but the fact that you're listening to the recording is absolutely awesome. This is a favorite quote I've had of mine for the last few years. General George S. Patton was a general in the United States Army in World War II. He was largely responsible for freeing Europe. He just led his tanks across Europe to free Europe during World War II. And he said, a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week. So another way I've heard this put is, it's generally a bad idea to wait to do anything. So from studying my material that I like to be strategic, and I like to come out with a well-structured, well-engineered marketing and business. My marketing is all sequenced out, so I do plan stuff out, but try to avoid delaying things. Don't say, I'm going to do this exercise next week. Do the exercise. Do it now. Do it now. Then come back and make it better next week if you want. You can always do that. Okay, I just want to set this little hook for you. I know this is going to get me in trouble, but I just want to mention this to you. I'm going to show you an old slide. This is from PLF Live 2013. And the thing is as part of your PLF registration, you get to attend PLF Live for free. And we do not have the registration set for 2015. We can't release dates quite yet, so I know right now, I'm sure a lot of people are saying, when's it going to be, when's it going to be? We will have dates for you soon. We'll give you a big advance notice so you'll have time to plan for it. But what I want you to do is just in the back of your head say, I'm going to attend PLF Live because it's going to be awesome. And it is. Basically what it is I take Product Launch Formula, and because we're live face-to-face, I'm up there for 3 days teaching my heart out. That means I can go deeper in ways we can't go within the program. It's just a deeper, more immersive program. And let's just say it'll probably be early January when we'll be releasing all the details, and we'll let you register for it. And we do have a registration process you have to go through so that we know everyone who's coming. But this is basically, in the past, when I've sold this event to the general public, I've sold it at $5,000 and we completely sold out. But you get to come as part of your PLF registration. You get to attend PLF Live for free. And in fact, you even get to bring a guest, which is something brand new this year. So, yeah, PLF Live is awesome. It's a 3-day live event. It's me on stage about 90% of the time. Sometimes I usually have at least one amazing guest speaker, sometimes two. I've had people like, well, you can see some photos there depending on the size of your screen. There's Brendan Bouchard, Rich Sheffrin, Marie Forleo, Frank Kern, Evan Pagan, Clay Collins, Jay Abraham, Mari Smith, Jeff Johnson, Andy Jenkins, Don Crowther, and Lisa Sasovich. That's the people you can see on this page. I've had amazing people that come to speak at my event, and it's just really cool. But it is it's almost all me up on stage. And it's a workshop where we're actually leading you through a workbook, and it's fantastic. So I'm just putting this bug in your ear, so to speak, in terms of it'll probably be early January when we release registration details and start a registration process for PLF Live 2015. It's going to be awesome. So I think that's about what I've got here. Mark, if you want to take control back so that you can show people our instructions. So from here on out, basically I'm going to be answering questions. We're going to be doing Q&A, and I will be, I might have one more slide here. Yeah, some housekeeping and ground rules. I'm going to take live questions right now. So that means you can type questions into the Q&A box, and sometimes I'll take those questions, but in general, I would prefer to be talking to people. So what I'll do is you'll be able to raise your hand, and we'll give you instructions on how to do that in just a second. But you can raise your hand, and then I'll unmute your line, and then we'll be talking just like we're talking on the phone. And that's the way I really like to do that. This call is not for tech support. If you need help, then send an email to support@productlaunchformula.com, and we've got this amazing team of support superstars there, and they can answer. So if you're having trouble, like this PDF doesn't open, or this video doesn't play, or I forgot my username, or something like that, email support@productlaunchformula.com. We don't want to use up our time here for that. Some of my answers will be longer than others. When we go, some today, I might push you for people that just start rambling, telling me about your life history. I tend to be a nice guy, but we've got a lot of people on the call, so I'll push you to get to a question. And then sometimes I'll spend a lot of time answering a question, and sometimes it won't. And frankly, a big part of that depends on whether it's the question that, a lot of people can get value at. And some questions are just wonderful questions, and I'll go on for a while. Others I won't. This call will be recorded and posted in the PLF portal. And that usually happens pretty darn quick. And I need you to participate on the call, on this call, and between the calls. Like sometimes I'll ask a question, like a question of all of you, and I'll ask for you to type in a response on your little dashboard thingy there, and go ahead and type it in. I love seeing your participation. And then just remind, you guys have been doing a fantastic job of participating in the portal and asking questions and making comments, and it's been wonderful. But that's how you step up your game. That's how you stay plugged in, and that's how you will get the most out of this training. And then I always have this in there. You want to always respect the ecosystem. Just be cool. And I don't even have to say this really anymore. We always get cool people in these calls, but we always have cool people in the portal. But I mean, you know, yeah, I just put it in down there because you definitely want to respect the ecosystem. And one other, just a reminder, there's going to be extra bonuses in Product Launch Forum that we'll be rolling out, and they will be cool. Okay, so this is how you ask a question. You can type a question in the question box, and you go to webinar admin panel, or to talk live, click on the hand icon. That's going to raise your hand. Okay, so folks, now we're going to go to the old Q&A section. I'm going to go over to there. First of all, are you with me? I can actually get back where I can actually see. Hey, Mark, just one quick question for you. I've got this thing on my screen now that asks if I want to, it says attendees are still on hold, start broadcast or not now. I just don't want to push a button and break everything, but that's got my Q&A panel frozen up, so I'm going to have to do something with that. Which you could say not now. Not now? Okay. Cool. Did I break everything there?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, now I'm there. Okay, so is everyone there with me? Can you hear me? Type in, I can hear you, just because I love this little Q&A panel where I can see everyone respond. Oh, this is awesome. Love it, love it. Okay, so now I am going to go to the Q&A dashboard and screen sharing. And here we go. Okay, who's got their hand up? Who's got a question for me? Lots of people do. This is awesome. I love it. You guys, how are we doing so far? How are we doing so far? See, what happens is like, is when I've got that that keynote up and I'm showing that, I can't get the interaction with you, so it kills me. So I love this interaction. And normally, actually, what I do is I have two computers and two different screens, and I can see them both. But I'm actually traveling right now. Right after our launch, we went, and this is Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. And my daughter's home from college, and my son's home, and not home, but we went on vacation to Arizona, visiting friends and relatives down there. So I'm actually doing this from a guest room at my sister-in-law's house. So a little bit different setup. Okay, so let me see. I'm going to go right to a question right now. We're going to go to Amy, and I'm going to unmute you. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
You're on.
All right.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing
well. Let's see. I'm from actually PLF4, and so nice. I have looked through I think pretty much all of the material, and I have a launch coming up after the first of the year. Mm-hmm. And I kind of have a quick question as far as logistics. I am a therapist, and I'm launching a training program for other therapists, and so the majority of this will be actually, live in-person training. So there's a limited space.
Yep.
But what I would like to do, and the reason why I was thinking about doing it this way is I'll have the first 10 people in one cohort and another 10 people in another cohort. Would it make more sense to just have one launch for those 20 seats rather than doing two different launches?
That's a good question. What I would do...
And the cohorts would be able to a month apart.
Could you say that again, Amy, that last part?
The training dates will be not at the same time. They'll be a few weeks apart because there's only one of me, obviously.
Right. But they're the same programs, basically?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just don't, because of the way that the training is, you don't want a bunch of people all at the same time because it's pretty hands-on. So that's why I'm doing two different cohorts.
Yeah. Okay. So, and are the people that are going to be attending it, are they local mostly? Or are they
No,
going to be, okay.
a mix, but a lot of them are coming from out of state.
Okay. And so when are, but they're the same material, basically.
Yes.
So like, if I'm going to sign up for one or I'm going to sign up for the other, then it just, other than the dates, it just makes no difference which one I attend.
Right. It's a package. They get training with me, then they get class training, and they get all this extra. But I really wanted, because I took your suggestion and did the cohort, to really increase this community and that kind of thing, and they'll have online access to each other for case consultation and things like that. But I really ran that snag in when I was going through the pre and the pre-launch and timing and all that.
Yeah. If you, let's say, and what's your confidence level that you're going to be able to sell 20 spots?
70% probably.
Okay.
I have a list of about 1,000 people. Okay.
And would you rather have, say you had 14 people sign up, would you rather have 7 and 7 or 10 and 4?
7 and 7.
Okay. Yeah, I think 2. So, and how far apart? They're only a couple weeks apart?
Right. Well, maybe 3 weeks or so, because because a lot of people are going to be flying in. I'll do 2 days of training, day off, and then 2 days of training. And then I'll take a couple week break because I have, my therapist as well. I have to see clients.
Yep.
And then I'll start up again.
Yeah. So I think the answer is you want to do one launch. And,
okay.
And so first of all, Amy, let me just address everyone listening to the call for a sec. One of the interesting things, I've done a lot of these calls over the years, and one of the interesting things about these calls is we get questions that might be super advanced, and we get questions that are more newbie. And it's awesome that we have that mix, because we can all learn from the newbie questions, and we can also, the advanced questions are pretty cool because everyone likes to actually listen to those. In this case, Amy's been through PLF once already, so she's jumping right ahead to super advanced. So, Amy, I would do it as one launch.
Okay.
And then, there's a number of ways you could do it. You could offer the 2 different sets of dates, or you could just offer the first set of date. So the first, and then after that thing sells out, then you can open up, the second set of dates. That might be, I might come out and say we've got 10 spots for this thing and open up registration. And then after you fill it, or after you get maybe you get to 8 people, then at that point, then you can say, hey, due to the demand, we had, there's right. A second set of dates. We don't anticipate adding any more, but we were able to sneak in a second set of dates.
Right.
And then you could even roll it out, fill up say like you did, or let's just say you rolled it out and you got 9 people, and you got 9 out of 20. Then you come back and a few days later come back and say, hey, we took a look at this and we had a lot of demand for it, and some people couldn't make those dates, so we've added a second set of dates and we're doing a second program, and it's here.
Gotcha.
And so what you want to do is
still just be one launch.
Yeah, I think so, because you can't do 2 launches 3 weeks apart.
No, and that's no.
And you want to use the social proof of filling up the first one to sell the second one.
Okay. That sounds perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Okay. Now we're going to go to Barbara. Hey, Barbara.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm online from Melbourne in Australia, so I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you.
I thought I heard a little Aussie accent there.
Yeah, just a little one. My question, I have been... pardon?
Very early in the morning for you, right?
Oh, no, it's pretty good. It's actually 8:30.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So fabulous timing. Now, my question...
We actually, for everyone out there, we actually time these calls so they work for the U.S. and they're late for Europe and they're early for Australia.
Yeah. Well, it's perfect. It absolutely works well for me in Australia here. So my question is, I'm a PLF owner previously and have been using the system, and it's going really well. So just to put some figures on it, the launches now are around 10,000 a month, so it's getting there. I really feel that it's been fantastic. It's working really well. My concern is that I'm using Facebook marketing to grow the list, and that is terrific because of the area I'm working in. I have a business called the School of Modern Psychology, and I offer creative mindfulness programs. So it's a really cool, great market. My question is that when I'm doing a launch, sometimes my conversion figures are around 5%, and sometimes they're around 1%. And I cannot quite understand why there is such an extreme difference, and I was wondering if you had any feedback, no, not feedback, but any guidelines around what you'd expect, what I would be expecting or should be looking at expecting for conversion figures. And do you have those sort of variations, and what is an average benchmark that for online, it's an online business too?
Right. Well, first of all, we do see a wide range in our responses. Like when you what's the size of your data set when you do those?
Oh, look, I've been launching and grow. I started with, my very first one had 60 people on it, and then it jumped around 200, and now I'm up to about 800. And the 800 one was, pretty small. That was where I got 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And the 200 one was about 5%, and the 61 was higher, but the price was much, much lower. I've been increasing the prices as I'm going through.
Right. So yeah, it would make sense that the first one would just be much higher, even outside of the price, just due to the fact that you have just it's they're fans of yours. They're every person. They have it's almost like a band. Their first album is always their best album because they spent. If they're 25 years old, they spend 25 years old creating that material. And when you do your first launch, if you've built up a list over time, even small, you'll generally get a really good response from that. And then usually so first of all, we do have, because we will run evergreen launches for PLF, and we do see radically differing responses. And it's generally, it's usually due to different sources for your leads. And there could be other things that you do within the launch. We're always testing stuff within the launch as well. But we do, a 5 to 1, which, 1% to 5%, that's a 500% difference. That is pretty radically big.
Yeah.
But we've seen 2 to 1, absolutely have seen 2 to 1. And sometimes when we brought in different lead sources, one way, the numbers I like to look at is what's the dollars per lead that I bring in for, and so, I've had them up in the 75 recently. I've done them as high as $200+ per lead, but recently, $75 to $95 per lead for people coming in organically. But I've also done them where it was like, $10 per lead, but that was from a very, very different lead source. So, one of the things you have to do is look at it and say, am I comparing lead sources when I'm comparing these different numbers with each other? Mm-hmm. And then also just when you're working with relatively small data sets with relatively small lead universes like you are, then it's the opposite of the law of large numbers, which is whereas numbers get bigger and bigger, your metrics get more solid. You're still working with some pretty small groups of folks. I mean, if you're talking about conversions for a couple hundred people, one or two people having, eating the wrong food that night and getting an upset stomach instead of not buying and instead going to bed early, that can throw your numbers off. So, yeah. So it is natural for numbers to vary over time, but definitely pay close attention. Say, are we going to the same lead universe? A lot of times when you're in Facebook, as you start to expand who you're advertising to, those numbers will drop as well. Like when you're targeting narrowly, you'll get great numbers, and that's not just Facebook, but it's all advertising. It's all direct marketing advertisements like that, and that's why you have to roll out incrementally when you're up in your ad spend. So I don't know if any of that helps you at all.
It does. Just what do you have? What do you expect for your conversions? Do you look at like 10%, 20%? I always thought that the online marketing was lower because of that sort of thing. So what do you aim for?
I don't. Geez, I could do the math and figure out what it is, but I look for dollars per lead. So okay. I mean, if let's just say I'm getting $100 per lead for a $2,000 product, you could just back that out. And so what would that be? It'd be about 5% rate, I think. But really what's the most important metric is like, how much am I spending per lead, and then how much am I bringing in per lead? If you're bringing in more than you're spending, then I would love to give you a solid number, but there isn't one. It completely depends on price point, and who you're bringing in. And in some ways it's irrelevant. It's completely, like if you were selling a $100,000 product, or you're selling a $37 product, do you want to talk about conversion numbers? No, you don't. You just want to talk about what you're bringing in relative to what you're spending.
Okay, all right. So with the launches that are fairly low, like 1%, just keep going back and tweaking individually, and just sort of wear it on the nose sort of thing as to the next one. As you say, people, you don't know where they are at any particular point in time. I just have to keep monitoring and keep going along that side of thing. Yeah,
I know it's sort of, you want a hard and fast.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yeah. No, that's...
The other thing too is like the ones that really underperform, go back and say, did I like forget to send an email here, or did I do something? Because we do that all the time. And it's easy to make those kind of mechanical mistakes. So that's the first thing. I'm like, did I forget to actually turn the cart on or something like that?
Okay.
And I say that somewhat facetiously, but everyone still makes those kind of mistakes. And that's the first place I look. It's like, did I actually make some kind of mechanical mistake that just messed us up?
All right. Okay. Well, I appreciate your guidance. Thank you so much. I'm absolutely loving this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, that's Barbara. And for all of you who are more on the newbie end, who are feeling a little intimidated right now, please don't. Because like I said, we just have a wild mix on these calls, and you just never know what you're going to get. And those are two pretty advanced questions. So now we're going to go to Bill. Hey, Bill.
Hi, this is Bill in San Diego.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I had a question, and this may be covered in some of the later modules. I'm a new one on PLF, just started it. I wonder if you could give me some suggestions on how to test a business idea before I invest a lot of time and effort into it. I don't have a list, but I do have quite a bit of content. My ethical bribe is done. But I'd like to know if anyone would bite on this idea before I invest a lot of time.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, an easy way to do it, if you've already got the bribe, the value offer figured out, is create a basic squeeze page. Go to leadpages.net, sign up for them for $20 or whatever, and create a squeeze page, an opt-in page. Put your offer on it, And then, since it sounds like you got this a fairly well-developed idea, I would start to run some traffic at it using some real simple, basic Facebook advertising, and see first of all watch and see if people are opting in for this thing, and if they are opting in, then I would put together some a few follow-up emails to start interacting with them, and then just judge by that initial interaction. And there's all kinds of things you could add from there. You could, once you get a few people on your list, you could do a basic teleseminar or webinar, or you could just offer to do free discovery calls with them, where basically you're just getting on the phone and talking to them and helping them out. And so I think, there's this saying that no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. No battle plan survives contact with the enemy. I know that's another militaristic quote, but the thing is you have to get, if not face-to-face, you have to start rubbing elbows with your market. And so by running a few ads, taking them into an opt-in page, right there you can see whether they're opting in or not. You can see if there's any interest at all. Mm-hmm. And then I would either do a teleseminar or webinar or get on the phone and start talking them through. And you'll start to get a feel whether what you've got is resonating. And you can see, it's pretty low cost to be able to do all of this.
Great. I have another question. Is there a way we could connect up with people face-to-face in our area that are taking PLF through your staff, or is there some way to do that?
I'm sorry, I just had my brain clicked off a little bit there. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego, and it'd be nice to be able to meet with other PLF students or people that have been through it face-to-face in our city here. Is there any way your staff could help us connect with other students in that way?
Well, we don't have anything built for our staff to do that, but the best is if you go to, there's certainly plenty of them there in the San Diego area. And if you go into the portal, that's where people are sort of connecting with each other.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. And I had a follow-up question from Adam Urbanski, who a good friend of mine, who typed this in, and he said, Jeff, can you clarify this? Are you looking at cost per lead or cost per client acquisition? And really, I guess that's a great point. Really, what I'm looking at is, really, they're sort of the same thing, or they'll get you to the same place is a better way to put it. I'm looking at what are my dollars per lead? So in other words, I'm not looking at the cost, I'm looking at the revenue per lead. So I'm looking at how many dollars for every lead that I run through my sequence, how many dollars in sales do I make? So that's just a simple, here's my total from the launch, here's the number of leads that were in this launch, and it's just a simple matter of dividing the two out. So, in that case, I would be looking at my cost per lead versus my dollars per lead. But, you could also use, what does it cost to acquire a client? It's just looking a further step down the road. So hope that clears things up. We're going to go to our next one, which looks like Candace. Hey, Candace. Hello. Candace, you are on. Candace going once, going twice. Okay, we're going to move on to Carrie. Carrie Montgomery. Hello, Carrie.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. So I was a part of PLF Floor, and so I started in, but then had some medical stuff and had to take a break, and now I'm psyched to be starting over live with you.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I went through this recent change in my life. I've gone through and reevaluated how I'm doing business. I was doing more coaching before, and I really want to go more into consulting. because I have more of a sales and marketing background. Online is totally new to me since I've been more in front of the customer. So like I love going for new business. I love building the relationship. I love systems and I love being creative. And I really, when I was going through the process of what I wanted to do, I was desiring to really create launches for service-based businesses. And I was on a call actually with Frank Kern earlier today, and he was saying it's probably really long of a cycle for me to go in and actually download the data and the information from that, expert and then create the program and the launch for them. What's your insight?
So a specific question would be, is this a good direction to go to actually run launches for people? Is that? Yeah, like you create and run them for them. Yeah. I'll tell you what, actually back in 2009, I ran a program called Product Launch Manager that taught people how to run launches for people. Okay. And it can be really good and it can be lucrative. It is a long process. Really what it comes down to is landing the right clients. It comes down, it's like a horse race and picking the right horse. Right. And you've got, a horse race is about to go off and there's 12 or 14 right horses and one of them's going to be a winner. And if you can pick the right horse, then it's a happy day for you. And if you're going to do
pretty good luck with that in the past.
What was that?
I said I've had pretty good luck with that in the past.
Well, that's good. That's a great skill for you to have. I don't do this anymore because, frankly, I can't afford to. But it's been remarkably lucrative because, I was getting 15% off the top, and every launch I did was a multi-million-dollar launch. And for those of you keeping score at home, 15% of $2 million is $300,000. So. And I would get an upfront fee as well. So it was very, very lucrative. But, I had one where we picked them and I thought it was going to be great. And then they never did the launch. And so I got the upfront retainer, but then they just didn't pull it off. And so that's the only negative. That, finding the clients, picking the right clients, maintaining their authority through, because there's a lot going on in the launch. They're going to keep on trying to reinvent whatever you're doing. That's what.
Right, and I'm already noticing that as I do other small social media campaigns with them and rebranding strategy.
Yep, exactly. Even for me, I came in with massive authority and massive positioning, and I'd still have some junior level person changing the subject line in an email, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. You cannot. It's like. So there are some pitfalls, but and it's a long cycle. So you need to get money up front. You got to pick the right horse. You cannot take a client if you don't have the authority. If they don't completely respect you and your work and what you're going to do, you can't take them. Okay. And you have to be willing to put up this long cycle. And then beyond that, I still have, just a couple of weeks ago, I spent some time with one of the people that went through that product launch manager training with me back in 2009. And he's done 50 some launches now for clients and just, he's made a lot of money and he's built up incredible expertise. And now he's actually getting ready to, because he specialized in one specific area. Mm-hmm. And now he's built up such positioning in that area that he's getting ready to roll out his own product, and it's going to be a home run because he's just going to have great support from all the people he's helped over the years. So it can work. That's the
long-term goal is to eventually build my own thing. I have so many different passions that I need to just help other people first at this point.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a good fit for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. These are great points for me to keep in mind as I go through the process with the first few clients that I have.
Cool. Awesome.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move on. Thanks, Carrie. Let's move on to, let's go to Cliff here. Hey, Cliff.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Our question's just relating. We've got a launch coming up, and what it is, we've gathered data on almost doing the pre-launch. This stuff is very, very new to us, and I love the idea of it, and I can see the essence of how it works and how we can reach many more of our clients and help people in a much bigger way with it. The question I have really is, we are going to be running a webinar where we're going to be launching a membership site for people. And I was just wondering on your feedback whether you would go for a sideways sales letter as into the list that we have already to get them onto a webinar, or would you just use an email sequence to get those people onto a webinar and then the people who join your list to have a sideways sales letter away from that?
Lots of people have done webinars, use webinars many different ways within these launches. I don't really teach it as part of the process. And the reason is just because I haven't found a way to elegantly have it work over time, consistently. Some people are great with webinars, some aren't. I would generally just put people onto a webinar via email. I would just go straight up email, and I would probably start, emailing just, people usually like Wednesdays or Thursdays for webinars, and so, if I was putting people on for a Thursday webinar, I'd start mailing Tuesday. I'd mail Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday morning, and just put them on straight with email. And then I like to use, I've used webcasts, which are very similar to webinars, as part of my open cart week. I've used them as the end of the close of the cart week, like on closing day, and they worked well. They moved the needle, but it wasn't something that turned my world upside down. I've had other people do them for the open of right at the launch of your open cart. I think that's really pretty hard to do because there's usually a lot of other stuff going on at the open. Then we've had people do webinars the night before open, and that's worked. We've had some people it's worked really, really well for, others that it hasn't. So, I don't know how you want to relate a webinar to your launch is a bigger question. I wouldn't tend to do a sideways sales letter just to put people on a webinar. You should be able to make a good enough offer via email and squeeze page to get them to register.
Okay, cool. That kind of answers it. I think what we were going to do was make an offer on the webinar for the product, and then there'll be follow-up emails in the sequence after that.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I was just saying that what we were aiming to do was get people onto the webinar and then make an offer on the webinar for the product that we're offering, and then have a follow-up sequence after that. It was almost like a follow-up and to kind of catch the people who missed out and replays, etc. So would you advise on that?
Well, have you done webinars before? Are you good at? Is it a skill set you have or your company has?
Yeah, we're very comfortable talking and presenting in our niche, which is health and stuff. So it's something that we're quite happy to do.
And have you been? So it's one thing to be. I'm talking to you, and I'm totally comfortable talking to you, and this is fantastic. But there's a whole different thing between talking and teaching and actually selling off a webinar. So have you sold off of a webinar before?
Yeah, we've had a mixed response. We had one that was that we sold on and one that we didn't. So
yeah. So you could do it your way. I'm sure it'll work. So webinars, in my opinion, webinars and product launches or PLF are really sort of two different things, and I think they are probably the two most effective ways to sell online these days. But I would think of them as sequential. It really was what you're talking about, is doing it sequentially. First do a webinar and try to sell, and then for the people that don't buy off the webinar, then do a PLF launch and try to clean up. And that's perfectly valid. And I think if you got for people that are huge, really good at selling off of webinars, that's a great way to go. I would tend to do it the other way around. PLF's my baby, so of course, I'm like the hammer. I'm like Carpenter who's got a hammer, and that hammer's PLF, and so everything looks like a nail. So I would go PLF first, and then a webinar after that to try to get anyone who didn't buy through PLF. But I mean, if you want to do it, the webinar first, go for it.
No, it's cool. We're totally open to suggestions. It's only obviously this stuff is very, very new to us, so time to implement it, etc. It was just finding the best way of doing that, but that's really helpful.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I think they're both great tools, and it probably is, since you've done webinars before, it'd probably be more time efficient just to knock out a webinar right now and then follow it up with a launch.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go to, where are we at here? Let's go to Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia.
Hi, Jeff.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, though I have to preface that by saying that I've been sick, and if I start having a coughing attack, you should just mute me and move on, because it goes on for a little while.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a total newbie, and so my questions feel pretty basic after all of those.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of advanced ones, but that's okay. We need some newbie questions to ground everyone and to make all the other newbies feel good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad I can serve in that way. Okay, so my concern is spam. Like, how much do I need to worry about being categorized as spam, like during a seed launch, like initially reaching out to this big list of people that I have in my email? Do I send it directly from, so I'm just going to kind of compile a whole bunch of little questions together, and then you can respond. Is it best to just send it from a regular email address, or do I want to go ahead and get a, what are they called, a list, what is it, list manager?
List
right
away? Or list host. So how many people are we talking about?
Maybe 1,500. Whoa.
Okay, that's a lot. And these are people that you have some type of relationship with.
Well, not entirely. Many of them, yes, but really, right now I'm just compiling anybody that shows up in my Gmail as somebody that I've ever had any kind of an email exchange with.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, yeah, if you send out, if you do like a blind carbon copy and send the 1,500, you're going to have a problem. It's just Gmail's not going to be happy with sending out that many emails like that. So what I would probably do is I would more triage it. And so there's going to be some manual labor here, and it's a bit of a pain in the neck, and it's worth it. I would triage it. I would look at, say, okay, what are the ones I have a best relationship with, and then I would really the answer here is to send them individual emails. And I know it sounds insane.
Yeah.
But that will get a much greater response. Or you could just say, okay, these are the 300, and I mean it's still it's a cut and paste. It's not like you're typing out 300 different ones, but you are sending 300 separate ones. And just type up something that sounds personable. For some of them, you're going to put an extra sentence in the beginning to acknowledge some relationship with them or something going on with them. But if you do the cut and paste thing, you can get through 300 in a few hours, and those will be very, very those few hours will pay off in a big way. And then you could go to the ones that really the answer is for this type of thing. Really, the best way is individual email. You could do it with small groups of blind carbon copy, maybe 20 or 30 or 40 of them. Then, you could put into small groups and send them out and gradually send, not like one after another, one and then wait a little bit of time and then another one. But the reality is, you should be, if you're going to be reaching out to people that haven't asked, you asked the right question. Okay, well, am I going to be perceived as spam, or is it going to be spam? And if it's someone you have some type of prior relationship, you've had some kind of prior connection with, if you're sending an individual email, you're not going to get in trouble. But when you start to group them together or try to import them into something, then you could possibly get into some kind of trouble, or at least get some blowback from it.
Okay. Thank you. And then, so at what point do I start, what did you call it, a list?
A list host?
List host. Yeah. So at what point do I start using a list host?
Well, what I would do is this is the point. You would go where you do that. You get a list host. You put up an opt-in page, and really the play, so the list host I recommend is Aweber. There's others out there. There's a lot of them. It's just Aweber I've been using since 2003. So I like it. It doesn't mean for everyone else, if you've got someone else, it doesn't mean I'm saying bad things about them. And we will be getting to different tools and stuff in Module 2. Then the tool I like to use to build the squeeze page or the opt-in page is Lead Pages, leadpages.net. And so what you would do is you build a page in Lead Pages that puts people onto your list at Aweber. And again, there are other tools for all these, and I'll cover other tools in Module 2. But then when you send those individual emails to people, then you're going to say, hey, I'm doing this thing, and if you're interested, go here for more information. And where you send them to is your opt-in page. And then they opt in, and then they're on your list host.
In Aweber. So it just automatically gets fed into my list host from there.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Okay, so with regard to the way the commissions are, I don't know if that's the correct word, but that commissions are generated through affiliates and that sort of thing, is it super complicated software or fairly accessible, or like how do you do that when you start having affiliates and JV partners and that sort of thing, and you're going to be, receiving money off of the sales that go through there?
Right. So there's a lot of different choices for software, and again, this is going to be in the tool section of Module 2. And some of it is pretty complicated, but some of it's pretty simple. So there in the video, I'll walk through. These are good ones to start with, and these are good ones to if you're really advanced.
Okay, cool, awesome. So you're going to touch on it then.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking those newbie questions. It's beautiful. Okay, let's go to Dan. Dan Horner. Hey, Dan.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Am I on the phone or the computer? I can't tell.
I don't know. I think the computer, but I'm not positive.
All right. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Awesome. I'll turn off my phone. I wasn't sure if you could hear me. Nothing. Okay. So I'm in Tucson, and thanks very much. Are you in Phoenix, by the way, or are you just?
I'm right up the road. I'm in Phoenix right now.
So I have this. I don't know if you read my thing here, but I have this guy. He's Don Jose Ruiz, Toltec shaman, son of.
Okay. One thing is he's up on the keyboard though, because that's really loud.
Oh, am I loud?
The keyboard is. When you're hitting the keyboard, it sounds like you're about to punch a hole in it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I barely. Okay. Okay. So anyway, he's got like an evening session talk, and then 3 days later a workshop, and this is happening in February of this year. I mean of 2015. Excuse me, and this coming February, and I'm just wondering if I should launch both the evening event, which costs money to get to, and the workshop, which also, was obviously more, like a 2-day workshop that costs more. Should I launch those at the same time? And that's question part A of it. And then B, with the sequence that you're doing with teaching us product launch, am I going to be able to do everything that I need to do to launch? Like, should I use it for this particular launch, or should I just learn PLF, don't worry about it for the February event, and move, just use PLF after I've learned it all, and then...
Yeah. So the way the current timing is we're going to be basically, I think we're going to be releasing Module 6 right at it's either the last week of December or first week of January. So theoretically, you could have gone through the entire course by then. But if it's a live event, now are people traveling to this event?
People will come down from Phoenix, maybe a couple from Santa Fe or something, but mainly it's going to be Tucsonans. I have a list in Tucson, and it's a pretty strong and active list of about 1,300 or 1,400.
Okay, so the prime time for them to be buying it, they're registering it, I would think, be a week to 2 weeks ahead of time. Does that sound right?
I was going to do a push for Christmas and give people like a 50% off discount to come, to purchase before Christmas. And then yep. I was going to, really I like to get a good 60% or so of the tickets sold by like a six weeks out or something, because then word of mouth happens and then more people end up coming. I don't know if that's wise or not, but
for when I'm selling like a live event, like where people are coming from around the world, I usually think 6 to 8 weeks is the golden, sort of the golden time. I just thought maybe yours would be a little shorter, but since people aren't traveling so far. And what's the price point? So
the evening talk on February, I think it's the 12th or something, is $30, and I'm saying that's the final price, and I'm discounting it. Like, I sold a bunch of tickets for $10. I've already sold like 250 tickets for $10, and then for Christmas I'll say you can get it 50% off at $15, and then the workshop is going to be essentially the amount that I want to make after JVs and everything is going to be $150 per sale. So I'll have like an early bird for Christmas again of $150 for this 2-day workshop. And the guy's he's not super famous. He's the son of the Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of the 4 Agreements. Yep. So, he, on name alone, he will bring people. But I just thought I'm learning this PLF. I might as well use it if I can.
Yeah. So this isn't. So first of all, the evening session is like, that's not even almost the launch. PLF launch at that price point would overpower it almost.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's like an impulse type of thing at that price point, and so I would focus on doing the launch for the bigger workshop.
Okay.
Then you can always, like, if people don't buy that, you can always downsell them the evening one. I think with what you're going to be able to get through in the PLF course in the next, really through the first 4 modules, and you're going to be through those modules. Let's see, Module 2 is on December, I think, 1st. 3 is on. So by the 15th, you're going to be through 4 modules, and I think this is not going to be that hard of a sale for you, and you're already filling it up. And so I would think that, I would use some elements of Franklin's formula. I would absolutely use the overall sequence, and you're going to get through it in what you need for this in the first 4 modules. You're going to be just fine.
So that'll be enough time by December 15th to launch and also, have a Christmas sale as well, you're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I agree. And then if I may have a follow-up or...
Yep.
So then, so you're saying I should just focus totally on the workshop and not worry about that lower price point, even if I have 600 seats I can sell.
Well, what I'm saying is I wouldn't put 3 pre-launch videos together to sell a $10 workshop.
Yeah. No, that's what I thought. It might be too much. Okay, and then So I probably, for the evening thing, I'm probably going to use a Groupon as well. Is there a right place? I know you don't teach Groupon or anything in your PLF, but is there a right place that I would do that, or should I not do that when I'm doing PLF because it'll like be two separate things? And
yeah.
I mean, I could do it in January just as well as.
Yeah, I would do it. I would do it separately. Yeah, right, absolutely. I mean, I just worry. I'm not a huge fan of discounting, and that's what Groupon's all about, is discounting. And unless they give you serious exposure to a world of your ideal buyers that you're not going to reach in other ways, I think it hurts your position more than anything else.
So if I was going to do it, I should have done it. I should have already done it before I started the launch.
Yeah, or I mean, you could do it now. I mean, depending on the timing. I don't know how easy it is to tweak around with their timing, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Okay, let's go to David here.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'd just like to say thanks for the program. It's been awesome so far.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So I've got a couple newbie questions as well.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So basically what I've done is over the last year I've started making a few YouTube videos focused on shyness, and have built up a reasonable sized list from that just to begin.
Nice.
And I'm launching my first product to them right now.
Excellent.
Yeah. And so there's a couple things that I'm working on right now that I'd love your opinion on.
Okay.
And one of them is what to sort of focus my marketing around.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And how to sort of sort that out, because I've emailed people and asked them their biggest frustration, and two of them sort of come up, which is how to make friends,
mm-hmm.
and then also conversation skills, like how to start and carry on a conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to hear your opinion on ways to sort of test those to find out which one would be the best.
Well, I mean, usually for any product, any market, there are 2 or 3 primary objections.
Yeah.
And so you've got your 2 top ones, and you want to hit both of them.
Right. Okay. So you think maybe just doing one and then doing the other?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
I mean, if you look, what do you suppose are the 2 big objections for people getting product launch formula?
Probably that it's not going to work. Like the big objections, or what they want to have happen?
Well, no, what are the big objections? So it's not going to work.
Probably that it's not going to work, and probably that it costs too much.
Okay. Yes, I'm sure those are present, but I mean, I think going a little deeper on why it won't work, I think the biggies are I don't have a product and I don't have a list.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And there's also ones like, hey, I think it only works for people who are selling stuff about online marketing, or it only works for gurus, or it's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
It's going to work in my niche. And if you look at how often I circled back to those during my pre-launch, and we'll be releasing all my pre-launch material. Those will be coming out pretty soon. And you look, and I continually circle back. In pretty much every video, I talk about one of those to a certain extent. But then I'll focus on one or the other at different times. And,
okay, yeah.
And you don't think just because you mention it once, it just doesn't matter. Like, so in the first video, I talk about them. In the second video, I talk about them. In the third video, I talk about them. Then at the start of the sales video, I talk about there's 2 big elephants in the room. List and product, and I talk about them there. And then I come back and I offer bonuses for each one of those, which gives me another place to talk about them. So, it's awesome that you've already identified the 2 big objections, and I guarantee, the odds are they are the 2 biggest, because usually it's not too hard to identify what those objections are, but so you just start talking about them right now. I mean, I would shoot a video for each one of them right now, even before you do the pre-launch, and start talking.
Yeah.
And,
well, they're not.
Never stop.
I just want to. No, that's great. Thanks a lot, Jeff. So they're not entirely like objections. These are what I'm actually thinking of focusing my entire product on, which is either like how to make more friends or, how to start and carry on conversations, which are interrelated. But I'm just wondering on ways to test how I should clarify.
Yeah.
Which one to focus on.
I'd probably, I'd probably shoot like a video, put up a YouTube video on it and send your folks to it. Do one in each. And watch the comments that come in.
Yeah.
And you could probably do one product that sort of covers both of them, and then you could probably do another product for each that goes deeper into each one of those questions.
Right. Fantastic. One idea I had was actually just emailing my list and asking them what they'd like to do. You think that's a good plan?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
And then my last question here is about the price point of something like this, because I'm not too familiar with the market. And so I was thinking of doing like a 5 or 6 week course, and the price point I was thinking was like around $200. Do you think that sounds reasonable?
And so tell me again about your target market.
Sure. My target market are basically people who are shy and suffer from shyness and social anxiety, and want to make more connections with people around them, make more friends, build stronger relationships.
Right. So price points are real interesting. I would try to find similar products out there aimed at a similar market and see what else is out there, and then I would sort of try to aim at the higher end. That does, at first blush, me not knowing the market, it seems about right. 100 might be right, 200 might be right. And this is one of those things where, like, it could be, if it's just generally for everyone that's shy, there was one price point, but then if it was for, say, I don't know, it could be corporate executives who are shy, it's a whole different price point.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
That would be a much higher price point.
Yeah.
And so it really, prices are funny that way. And usually the narrower you niche down, even if it's basically the exact same material, but it's niched down with maybe a different intro and a different conclusion, and maybe different packaging. It might be priced 5 times or 10 times higher.
Right. Okay.
Sort of like think about like time management. Time management, just a general time management program. What's it worth? It's going to be tough to get more than 30 or 40 or $50, maybe $100 if it's really done great. But now if it's management for surgeons, it's a whole different can of worms. So there's time management for surgeons who, so they can run their entire practice, then that's a whole different can of worms. And it maybe just went from $50 to $10,000.
Right, yeah.
It's interesting that way. Prices are very, very interesting.
Okay, and what I'm thinking is maybe just, doing a launch and testing it, and then seeing how it kind of works like that.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for the program. I'm really enjoying it so far.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so just check in. How's everyone doing out there? You still listening to me? Still listening to us? Cool. We got lots of people who are still here. That is awesome. Just tell me, scale here, are we too newbie or too advanced at this point? Because we've been sort of all over the place. Too newbie or too advanced? Okay, we're getting some too advanced, way too advanced, right on track, good balance. It's all good. Need more newbie. Too advanced, I'm a newbie, all good. Too advanced, too advanced, too advanced. Bunch of too advanced. Mostly too advanced. Yeah, good mix. Perfect. Good so far. Very balanced for me. So yeah, we're all over the place. So this is what we're going to say about these calls. We've got a lot of hands raised, lots and lots of hands raised. And the way these calls work is I don't know what the question is before I unmute them. And we got dozens and dozens and dozens of hands raised, which is awesome. Won't get through all of them today. Usually these calls wrap up in 90 minutes, which is just about 10 minutes from now. I'm going to go a little longer today. So I am not going to get through everyone's questions today. And that's the way it always works in the first call. And next week on the second call, I probably won't get through all the questions on that call either. But sometime around the third call, that's when we start to catch up and get through most all the questions. I guarantee you by that last call, and I promised you 5, I'm going to end up doing more than 5. And we haven't even gotten to Mark and John. So Mark will be running calls, and John will be running calls, Mark Evans. Mark Evans has been with me since he actually went through that product launch manager training in 2009. He's been coaching with me for years. He's been through millions and millions of dollars of launches with me. And people just love Mark's just awesome. And he brings just a different perspective. And he's super grounded, and he runs a great call. And so Mark's going to be doing calls, and he's going to keep on doing these calls for you for a long time. We basically promised 6 months. It's probably going to be longer than that, because we are fans of over delivery. Then also interspersed with the calls from Mark, you're also going to get calls from John Walker, my brother. John has been working with me since 2007. Yeah, 2007. And John, has been through every launch I've been done since PLF2. So, probably $20 million in launches with me. And so John, he also has a whole different perspective. So we're going to get your questions answered. We absolutely will get your questions answered. And these calls are going to be going on for quite a while, and you're going to get lots of support. But we're not going to get to everyone today. And some calls, they will be more advanced. Just, the thing is sometimes, I think of it like sometimes you go into a movie, and especially like say the classic example is like a Quentin Tarantino movie. You walk in that thing, and he just throws you right into the mix, and you just don't know what's going on. It's just crazy right from the start. And I know when I'm sitting in the theater watching that movie, or, I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyone see Guardians of the Galaxy recently? I loved that movie. That was such a great movie. It was like inspirational to me. It was fun. It was inspirational. In fact, now that we're on vacation here with the family, I think everyone in my family's seen it, but I just asked my kids if they'd go see it with me again, and they said they would. So that's going to be fun. So anyways, sometimes you get thrown into a movie and you're like, what's going on? But I just say to myself, okay, I'm just going to relax. I'm going to go with it. And I know in 10 minutes, I'm going to have context. This will start to work for me, and I'll figure it out. And this is the same thing here. I'm going to take care of you. We're going to take care of you. If it does feel advanced right now, it's just flying by and you feel intimidated, just take a deep breath and say, I'm going to just grab the morsels that make sense right now as they go flying by me, but it's all going to start to make sense really, really soon. I know a lot of you might not have already, we just released the first module yesterday, so you haven't even, lots of folks haven't even been through it yet. I haven't seen any of it yet because, life happens. That's okay. Let this stuff just wash over you. Know you're going to grab the pieces here and there. Know you're going to be able to go back and listen to recording this call. Know you've got a bunch more calls with myself and with Mark and with John. And so we're going to get your questions answered. We're going to take care of you. We're going to get newbie questions. I'll tell you what, 5 weeks from now, we're going to be doing calls and we're going to get newbie questions. That's fine. And we'll get advanced questions all the way through. Part of the beauty of this is as you go through this, you get to learn not just from me and from John and Mark, but you get to learn from your other PLF owners. And one of the amazing things about this is that, well, first of all, you know, you go through a lot of other programs and they're cool and everything, but like you're part of the PLF family. You're part of the PLF owner family. And we have people going through Product Launch Formula right now. I know at least one person who bought the day Product Launch Formula was released on October 21st, 2005, and he's done launch after launch after launch, and he's upgraded to every single version. He upgraded to 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 4.0, and now he's with us at PLF, and I think he got PLF Product Launch Manager as well, and he's with us in PLF 2015. And he's certainly an outlier, but we have many, many people who've been through many Product Launch Formulas with us, and they keep on coming back. And they're in the comments, and they're starting to show some presence, and they're starting to answer, and they'll be on these calls, and they'll be asking questions, and they'll be in the community, and they will be at Product Launch Formula Live. So you're going through this not just with me and with my coaches and with my team, but with everyone else, or so many other PLF owners who've been there through it with you. So the beautiful thing is right now, yeah, it might feel too advanced. Some of our owners are coming in and asking questions. You're going to be doing that 5 years from now. You know, 5 years from now, you'll be part of the PLF owner family. You're going to be asking the super advanced questions. You're going to be answering other people's other newbie questions. So it's just all part of this awesome family. We've built, there's nothing like this anywhere out there in the online business world. There's no other live event where you're going to come and, you know, it's going to be 50% people new and 50% of people that have been coming for 5 years and keep on coming back. You know, it's just, you've got this warm, it's like this warm blanket that's embracing you now as a PLF owner. You might be just starting to get an inkling of that, or maybe you don't even have that feeling yet, but that's what you have joined. You know, when I'm in my launch, when I'm trying to get people to enroll in this, it's not really something I talk about because it's frankly, it's hard to communicate just how powerful this family is. But as you go through this program, and especially as you come to PLF Live, you're going to be blown away by the level of community and the continuity of people in this community, meaning the fact that they just keep on coming back time after time after time. I don't mean continuity like they're paying me on a monthly basis. I mean, you know, you're a PLF owner, you're part of the family. And it's a wonderful thing. And the reason they keep coming back and stay so plugged in is because they have such great success and it changes their lives and it's awesome. And they also love the community. So yeah. So just want to let you know it's not a cult, but it's pretty darn cool. And you're just right now getting embraced in this great, wonderful community that we've got. And if it does feel like we're moving too fast for you, don't worry. We'll lots of calls coming up, and we will wait. We'll pull you along with us. It's the rising tide that lifts all boats. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and grab some more questions. Just wanted to sort of just give you some perspective about that. Okay. We're going to go to Lara here. Lara or Laura? Not sure.
It's Lara from New Zealand. How are you, Jeff?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Hey, thanks so much for the product and the call today. Look, I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. I was looking to see whether there was kind of a one-page roadmap of where we're going for each launch, because I've got kind of two products that have kind of different assets associated with them that I want to launch straight away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just kind of making sure that I've kind of got all of the pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, in place for the launch. You know, I want to do an internal launch for a coaching program I've got.
Okay. So, Laura, so what was the question? I missed it in there somewhere.
So the question is do you have like a one-pager diagram of everything that you need to basically build out your launch.
Okay, got it. There we go.
For the internal launch, and I've also got a seed launch I want to do.
You know, Lara, I sometimes I lose track of everything we have in the program.
Sure.
But I actually, unfortunately, I don't think we do. Now that you asked that question, that seems like a good thing that we should have, but we don't have it. No. And Mark, if I'm forgetting something, and we've got it in there, let me know, Mark. But yeah, I don't think we do.
I suppose it's just like a checklist to say, okay, I've got all my ducks in a row. These are all of the pieces that I need to have developed for my launch, and then obviously how they, well, you know, I know it's everybody's decision as to what sequence they happen every few days or whatever, but it's just basically a kind of headline, kind of checklist roadmap, so to speak, to actually, you know, so that we've got something to follow where we're going.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I'm writing that down right now.
Okay, I really appreciate that. That would be fantastic.
Okay. Thanks, Lara.
Cool, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, we're going to go to, you know, man, everyone asking questions, it's all female here. This is crazy. I'm looking for a male name just so we can have some amount of balance. Let's go to, we've got a Michael here. Hey, Michael.
Hello, Jeff.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. So my question is the value of an ongoing newsletter in the PLF program.
The value of an ongoing newsletter?
Yeah, to continue to relate to your audience?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Jeff, I lost you. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Hello? Hello? Hello?
But a newsletter is great. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I lost part of you. You cut out about halfway through quickly, so it is a good thing to keep going with.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it and it's working for you and it's achieving your goals, don't stop doing it.
Well, we're not doing it yet. We're making it part of the product launch.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't do it as part of the launch. No.
So in other words,
I bring people in. Yeah.
So once we create the list, then maybe launch a newsletter to keep our relationship.
Yep. Exactly. And I mean, one of the things I said is like, you know, I don't do a newsletter, I do a weekly video, and that works a lot. It's easier for me to shoot a video, and I think it's more impactful for me. But, you know, for some people, a newsletter might work better. But, you you want ongoing content.
Yeah, that was the next question I had, Jeff, is so a video versus audio versus text. You're saying that video is much stronger for you.
Right. Yeah, it all comes down to, well, and frankly, I don't know if it all comes down to talent and how you like to work and like what you want to do. It turns out that I'm, surprisingly enough, I do pretty well on video. And, you know, we can say, I can come up with an idea and turn the camera on and like 6 minutes later, I've got it done. I can also, you know, writing is a real strength of mine. But for me to write something like a newsletter or write a really great article, is it's hours. And I'll want to edit it and edit it and edit it. Whereas I can just turn on a camera and be done with it. But other people, they're not going to feel comfortable in front of the camera, or they might not be compelling in front of the camera. So it just depends on what suits your level of skill in the various areas, really it's about your ability to connect and your ability to do it consistently. I know for me, to consistently do a video each week is a lot easier than to consistently write something great each week.
How about audio? Does that fit into this as well?
Well, a lot of people are having luck with podcasts these days. I mean, podcasts are becoming they've been a big thing, but they are the hot ticket right now. So you could do it as a podcast, absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. Great program.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Glad you're enjoying it. Okay, we're going to take another question here. We'll go to, where are we at? We're going to go to Lori.
I didn't even know. Yeah, this is Lori.
Hi, you're on.
Oh, I didn't even know I was going to be on. That's great, but I do have a question. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for your instruction. It's really been helpful. I've been publishing for 20 years, and it's been mostly hope marketing. Mm-hmm. And so I've just wanted to try this out. And I have a blog that actually about 3 months ago I was kind of becoming aware of what you're doing. And so I started a blog, and I've been posting a couple times a week. I don't get much comments. I ask for them, and I don't get responses. So my question is kind of related to this newsletter question. Am I going to be able to do the blog and the launch at the same time? I'm a small publisher. I've got a couple books coming out soon, probably after the first of the year. So if my blog, I'm not feeling like it's particularly successful, although people do open it, but I'm not getting great communication.
Right. So, one of the things with asking for comments is do you ask for comments, or do you specifically ask a question?
I ask specific questions.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting. But people are going there and they're reading it, but they're just not.
I get about 18% open, and then I'm on MailChimp, and I realized I can't get comments on MailChimp, so I tried to send them over to my blog, which is on my website, and some don't go. A lot of them, I think, don't click because they just don't want to take that extra click. So then I'm trying to decide, do I just communicate through MailChimp, or do I try to get them to go over to the website?
Yeah. Well, for me, the way I think about it, I mean, there's different ways to do this. I mean, but for me, I put the content on the blog, and then I'll send like a one-liner or a two-liner email that usually has some type of a curiosity or a hook that sends them over to the blog. Mm-hmm. And the blog delivers all the content, and then that's where you ask for comments. Because if you're asking for comments within your email, that's why no one's responded.
Right.
So if you give them the whole thing and say, here's the whole thing. Oh, I'd love to know what you thought. Click here and go post it on the blog. That no one will get any comments that way.
Right, and that's been part of the problem. And I have more recently been trying to just put enough of a hook to get them to go over to the blog, and I just don't think they're doing it. And the data doesn't show they're clicking over either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It usually comes, and it could be. I mean, it could just be you don't have a very engaged group, but I mean, 18% is not a bad open rate. I mean, and it's hard to compare open rates even among different email providers. They measure it differently, but that's a pretty strong open rate if you're consistently having that. Mm-hmm. And the other thing to think about is like, okay, well, if you send them over to the blog, and not that many go over to the blog, but those are your committed folks, the ones that are going over there. So it's better to have a small number of committed folks than a large number of uncommitted folks.
Mm-hmm. So then how do you blend the launch and the blog? That's sort of where I've kind of hit. I'm trying to implement parts of what I'm learning into the blog, and it just doesn't seem like a really good way.
It's almost always simpler than you think, and all of this stuff is for everyone. It's almost always simpler than you think. So in this case, how often do you publish your blog?
Once to twice a week.
Okay. So what I would do, when it comes down to, let's say you have a video to release, I would make that like, the blog post be about that video, or in that case, I would make it a blog post. I say like it's time to publish. So you got your video out, your video is ready to go, your pre-launch video. Now I would send that email, but instead of the email would have this hook that takes them to the video. So I would send them straight to the video. At the same time, I would take that same copy and I would put it up on the blog. So in case anyone's wandering into the blog, they can also find it there and click over to it. But basically, you remember back in the, well, actually, I don't know how old you are, but back in the day when there was like 3 TV stations, where they would say, we interrupt the, your normal broadcasting to bring you the special. I think of it as that. Like that's your blog was going to, now everything that goes on your blog is going to be stuff that relates to the videos and sends people those videos. And all your emails going out from you, instead of sending people to your blog, are now going to send people to your videos.
Okay. So the blog will sort of go on hold in the middle of the launch.
Yeah. I mean, everything I'm putting up on the blog would relate to the launch and send people there in case people are organically wandering over to the blog. And then your emails are just pushing people into your launch.
It seems like when I've done that just a little bit on other materials that I have, that's when I've kind of lost a few subscribers.
Yeah, well, you certainly probably, you will, I would say you will use some subscribers, but you'll lose subscribers that will never buy from you or implement you or add any value to you or your business or your life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put out great pre-launch content, you'll also super highly engage people. You'll engage the right people, and you'll repel the wrong people. And if you look at my open rates right now this week are like 6 times what they were before I started my launch. Did people unsubscribe? I'm sure they did. I didn't even look, frankly. I don't care at this point. But what you do is the people that should be engaged are highly engaged.
Mm-hmm. Great. Good. Well, I sure do thank you. This is really quite an adventure. Kind of rejuvenated things a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. Well,
this week.
Pardon me?
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yep. Okay, so we're going to take one more question. There was a question in here. Someone said that I'm dropped. It looks like we apparently lost audio there for a few seconds. I think we had a little problem. Like I said, I'm not at home in my normal office, so we had a little bit of internet connectivity there. So I dropped out for 30 seconds. My apologies. One thing I wanted to mention is someone asked if we're going to have a transcript for this call. No, we will not have a transcript for this call. However, you'll be able to get the recording of this call, so you'll be able to hear the entire thing if you want to. And yeah, so we're going to go take another question right now. Let's go to Mick. Hello, Mick.
Mick, yeah.
Hey.
You're on, Mick.
Awesome. I was almost not expecting to get my chance. Anyway, my question is about the guarantee. We're doing a launch for an existing product, and it's a $5,000 product, and the guarantee that we've been giving until now, we've just been doing phone sales, is it's for an exam. In particular, it's a medical entrance exam, and it's about getting into the exam. And the guarantee we've been giving so far is we'll stay with you until you actually pass the exam. The other alternative is a 30-day money-back guarantee. However, we're a little bit reluctant to offer the 30-day money-back guarantee. Do you think our sales will suffer if we don't offer the 30-day money-back guarantee, but instead we offer the we'll stay with you for life until you pass the exam guarantee?
I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, usually what I would do is I'd offer both. The 30-day and we'll stay with you. I mean, generally the conventional wisdom on guarantees is that the stronger they are, the better you are. And the more sales you'll make, and yeah, you might have some refunds, but you will do better in the long run with a stronger guarantee. That's the conventional wisdom, and that's been my experience, frankly. So, are you working individually with people with this?
It's an online program.
Okay. So if it's an online program and you do a 30-day guarantee, you absolutely will have some refunds. But the numbers will still work stronger for you in the long run. By you'll make the additional sales you'll make will more than make up for the refunds that you'll give.
Right. What about the problem with people, downloading the material, etc., and then asking for a refund, and then I don't know, potentially putting that on torrent websites and whatnot? I'm sure you've got some experience with that with PLF.
Yep. It'll happen. I guarantee you that. That's one thing I can guarantee. People will download it and make and refund, and it's very likely they'll end up on torrent sites. And I just did a multi-million-dollar launch. People have been pirating my stuff for 10 years now, and it didn't stop me from doing it. The thing is the people that really want to rip you off, they will always be willing to invest more in ripping you off than it's going to be worth it for you to stop them from ripping you off.
Right.
And frankly, I'll tell you what, right now there are people listening to me right now that have a timer set that will refund, an hour before the deadline. That's just what they're going to do. And if I if I mailed them golden bars of gold, they would still, no matter what I do, they'll refund. That's the price you pay for being in business. I to begrudge no one who, goes, the program's not right for them, so they want a refund, or it's not right for them, or something comes up in their life, whatever. I can't get the money out of my pocket fast enough and give it to them. It is irritating to have the people that no matter what I do for them, they're gonna, they got the timer set and they're gonna refund. But that's the cost of doing business. And when I look, so here's one thing is you personally shouldn't be ever processing refunds. It should be someone on your team. I don't even know what my refund rate is until months after the program because it's depressing. Yeah. And so you can't take that as a judgment. You can't get emotional about this because if you do, then you're not going to be. There's a lot of people that need your help. Right? There's a lot of people that need to get into that training or need to get into school, and they need to do well in this test, and they need your help. And the more you think about people refunding from you or stealing your work or putting it on torrent sites, the more you think about that, the less effective you're going to be at selling this thing. You can't get emotional about that stuff. You want to get emotional when you go to shoot your sales video and get ready to sell this thing. You want to be super emotional about the people you're going to help, about how this is going to help you, your family, how you're going to build this amazing business, amazing impact, but you can't think about getting ripped off. You just can't. It just puts you in a bad mental state. You got to avoid that. You got to take that out of your life. You got to have a team member deal with that stuff, and you got to put out a great guarantee because that guarantee is going to build your business. It's going to put this in the hands of more people. You're going to attract the right people. You're going to repel the wrong people. I look at it, that last question I talked about, I said the same thing. You want to repel the wrong people. Well, some of the people who bought this who are the wrong people, they're going to be those people that refund on day 29. And you know what? Their life is, that's all, it's just, the cool thing is I've gotten them out of my life now. I've just got really awesome people left in the program with me that are coming to my live event. Get all the refunders out of the way, and then the live event, we just have awesome people. That's what this is about. This is about attracting awesome people into your life that you want to work with, that you want to help with, that you're going to make a huge impact, and you're going to build a great business. You're going to have a great lifestyle by helping all these people out. That's what this is about. That is what this business is about. And that's why, we can't get we can't get the refunders out of our life fast enough. We process those so fast, I never even know that they came in. And again, I'm not, anyone out there, if you decide for whatever reason this isn't for you, that's fine. I'm not begrudging that whatsoever. But the people that stick, here's the other thing, is the people that are going to rip you off, they're never going to do anything with it anyways. They're never going to take that test, right? They're never going to even take that test. They're not going to go to medical school. They're not going to do anything with it because that's the way, there's some people, it's just sort of a hobby for them, just buying the stuff and downloading it. And you want people that are going to take action. And so, yeah, that's the way to think about this. You got to just go to your biggest, strongest, most abundant-minded self. And, if you add up the value of the stuff I've had ripped off from me, it's in the millions. But really, they're not taking any value from it. They're just taking it. They're not doing anything with it. So, sorry, everyone, if I'm going on a rant here. Sorry if this is a bit of a rant, and actually it's a huge rant, I guess I'm going on. But the thing is, that's the way you have to come at. You got to come at your business. You got to come at your launch. You got to come at your life with the absolute most abundant self you can, because that's when you attract abundance into your life. And this isn't about the law of attraction. I mean, if you want to go there, that's fine, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking on an aggregate. The more abundantly you show up in the world, the more the world shows up abundantly for you. And this is one way, great guarantees and taking care of people, and even taking care of them outside even outside of your refund period. That's, just take care of people and they're going to take care of you. Help people, they're going to help you. And it helps them make a good decision when they have that guarantee. It really helps them. And it helps them make that decision. And, at the end of the day, Mick, I don't know where you're at in your business, because, if you're charging $5,000, it sounds like you're not a newbie here. But, I don't know where everyone is in their business. But, when you start out, you're just sort of, you're doing everything. You do see every refund come in, and it sort of sucks. But it doesn't matter, because you focus on, I talk about this in Module 1, the entrepreneur's hierarchy of needs. And a lot of times, for many of us, when we're starting out, it's just about making a few dollars, and that's exactly where I was. I was desperate to help support my family in some way. I'm at home taking care of a couple of babies, my wife supporting the family. I just wanted to possibly make a few bucks, okay? And then, you make those few bucks, and then I just wanted some time freedom. And then I got that, and then it was just, I just want to work. It's all about who you're working with, the relationships you have. And then you get this luxury of just working with the best people. And that's really what I'm talking about here, is working with the best people, the people that have sort of filtered themselves out, that refunded. Well, you don't want them anyways. Now you've got just really cool people. And then eventually come down to purpose. And the thing is, it's like, you can't get out there and build that income and build that time freedom and then have those great relationships and then work towards your purpose if you're just worried about some people refunding from you and stealing from you. Because, like I said, there's always going to be people that are more invested in that than you should put the time. Yeah, do the basics to try to protect yourself, but then just go out there with a big, abundant heart and help people out, and it will do amazing things for your business. So, Mick, I thank you so much for asking that question, because I guess based on my rant there, I had something that needed to get out of me. So.
Well, I'm glad I could be your therapist for the day.
Cool.
Just quickly, Jeff, one thing, I'm going to have to kiss my brother as well. And he's under the impression that the people who do the 30-day money-back guarantee are the ones that are most likely to put the program on the torrents. And that's his main objection.
Dude, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know who goes to the torrents and download stuff? The people that would never buy from you.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes complete sense, yeah.
One time, so there's a site that's just dedicated to ripping off online trading. And what they do is they do these group buys there. And so like one person will buy it and then everyone puts in a few bucks. And there's like one time where I got access, I'm not supposed to have access to it, but like I've got the beautiful thing, I was talking earlier about the PLF family. And so I have means to get into everything because I've got fans everywhere. And so someone sent me a whole it was pages and pages and pages and pages about these people putting together a group buy for Product Launch Formula. So one person was going to pay $2,000, and then everyone who wanted in had to pay like $8 or $9, and then they would share it. And you know, the thing is like there's these pages of these in this forum of people say I want in, but then there's other pages where there are people like, you know, this I'm not going to get paid for a couple of weeks. So is it okay if I join this in a couple of weeks for $8? And I'm like, that person's never going to be one of my clients ever, 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 ever. So it doesn't hurt. No. So just take this recording and play it for your brother. And if he still doesn't believe, then I don't know what to say.
He's not on the call. Could you just mention him by name, Tom? Just say Tom. Tom, yes, Tom, you got to get your act together here. You know, the people that are going to rip you off, they're not going to be your clients. You don't want them as clients. So, yay for that. In fact, if you really want to think about it, you know, I do know people that actually seed their stuff onto the torrents to build their business. And I don't want to get into that, but yeah, you got to think about exactly how is this hurting me? And do I ever want those people? And no, you don't. So, cool. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Beck. Okay, what do you guys think? Give me a scorecard on that rant of 0 to 10. Was it worthwhile or not? 0 is Jeff, you just shut up already, and 10 was, okay, that rant was pretty darn cool. Okay, I'm mostly getting 10s. I got a 12. I did have a 6 and a couple 7s. We do have a 3 here. Someone didn't appreciate it. So, cool. Okay, so folks, we're going to wrap here. We're at 2 hours now. So we're going to wrap up. What do you think? Good call? Good call? Helpful? Good call? Great call? Excellent call? Muy bueno. Love it. Okay, so thanks so much for playing along with me. I love seeing the feedback come and pouring in. To me, it's still a miracle that we can talk from we had calls from New Zealand, Australia, and all over the place. So yeah, it was absolutely very, very cool. Love doing this. Love your interaction. Thank you so much. Missouri, Canada. And we're going to do another one next Monday. So keep on going through that module. I know you got module 1. If you've been through it once, go through it again. Repetition is the mother of mastery. So yeah, been through it once, go through it again. Stay active in the comments. Help other people in the comments. Go to the community section. There are bonuses under the bonus section. There's some cool case studies. There's launching your list. So we got lots more for you there. Module 2 coming out on Monday, and our next call will be next Tuesday, and I'll be with you. So we will have another great call. Thanks so much, and really appreciate you guys hanging in there and participating with me.